Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 219. Ship Happens. Recorded on Friday, October 7th, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt. And before we get on into the show, let's hear a quick little blurb from podcaster Zen, which actually produces this podcast.
Are you looking into starting a podcast? Or maybe just need some help putting it all together so you could focus on your voice telling your story? Introducing Podcaster Zen. From audio podcasts to video to live streaming a show, we do it all. Head over to podcasterzen.com for more info on how we can help you share your message with the world.
Love that music, Freddie. Got me grooving here.
Written and
Got me-
recorded by our very own Freddie. So shout out to you, Freddie. And voice acted, actually. All of that is just a
Yeah.
Freddie end-to-end production there.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Gets me grooving and moving. And speaking of grooving and moving, Tyler, you got a tonal. So
I did a weird little workout machine. So I'm feeling a little sore today. You'll probably see me rolling my shoulders here.
That's one of those big
Yeah.
mirror devices, right? That kind of
A
hangs
big
there.
mirror. It's kind of like a cable machine in essence, but it's like electromagnets. It's got a bunch of weird AI that I'm still figuring out how that's supposed to work. But yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit sore today. And then headed out to Rocky Mountain National Park tomorrow to do a 10-mile hike. So if I don't make it back, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed being on the show and sharing all the Zoho love with everybody. So hopefully I arrive back home safely from that, but we will see.
I have, for the first time in forever, nothing planned this weekend, so
I'm
that's
jealous.
kind of nice.
It's kind of the best weekend every now and then, right? Just
Super
sit around
nice.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about us. Let's get into news and events. Not really a lot changed since last week. We're going to be doing, I guess, gosh darn, 11 days from now, the Zoho Survey Full Product Tutorial 2022. And then Zoho's got that people one on the same day. And then there is a transforming CRM with digital signatures. That's put on by Zoho. So you can take a look at that as well. And then Zoholics in India is kicking off here at the end of the month. And that's kind of it for a look at October anyway. And as always, if you want to know what's going on in the world of Zoho, just head over to zenatta.com/events. And we keep track of all of the events going on in Zoho for you, so you don't have to just kind of one spot to find them all. So head on over there and check out that and the rest of our site. With that, Tyler, let's jump into the news. All right, we will start with Zoho bookings. They've got some updates, navigation menu, list view, and some HIPAA support. Kind of went through these. These are just real minor
yeah, I saw
cosmetic.
this when I jumped into a one of our client Zoho accounts to review a calendar sync issue, and I noticed that they did redo some of the UI. It's kind of nice, a little easier to get around, easier to find what you need. HIPAA support's kind of an interesting one. I don't know. I guess maybe if you are taking medical bookings or for a some type of
Yeah.
private practice, maybe you're using this. So why not, right? You might as well add HIPAA support, but yeah, nothing here I think that really tackles maybe some of the core challenges with bookings, but definitely nice to clean up some of the UI and navigation a bit.
Well, they fixed the fact that it now sends calendar invites out, and
3 years later, so we're on our way, onward and
that
upward.
was next year's. That was last week, so we're making progress. The bookings team's on fire, baby. All right, and then moving on with the news, updates for Zoho inventory. If you're in Kenya, they've made some changes there. They've got a Kenya edition now. That's kind of cool. And then they have some changes for India. They have Vama Ship is now supported. But the big one, Tyler, is you can now partially fulfill sales orders.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, so essentially this is if you are not using packages, right? With the traditional packages that kind of pull over using inventory, you've always been able to partially package, but this is if you're doing what's called like a force fulfill, or maybe you sold it in a retail location or
yeah.
something that just doesn't require a shipment, but maybe you have already fulfilled part of it, right? So they walk out of the store, they take with them X, Y, and Z, and then you're going to ship them A, B, and C, right? So you can partially fulfill the things that they already have received. So nice to have.
Nice.
And then I think there's one other thing. Is there one last little one? Yeah, the shipments module. So you can now create shipments natively within the shipments module. I think generally speaking, you're going to do this from a package, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, doesn't hurt if you do need this to have the ability.
Yeah, and then some small updates to the iOS app were done as well. So, inventory team chugging along, and with that, moving on. This is kind of it's a big update actually. If you are pulling your Shopify data into analytics, Zoho was previously using OAuth. They're discontinuing that for some technical limitations, and so now you connect to it through an API key, API secret and access token based authentication. Um, Kind of a minor thing. They've got a step-by-step guide here. So if you are pulling your Shopify data into analytics, you'll want to take a look at this and
Yeah,
change
I
how you.
didn't see it in the notes, but it's the same in Zoho Flow. If you do have a Zoho Flow connector set up, you'll also need to update it to this new methodology. And
I
this
would
is just on
imagine.
the Shopify side. This isn't even something that Zoho really gets to pick. Basically, Shopify has decided that any third-party integration needs to use this method.
Is that
So
going to change also the Shopify plugin?
for inventory, probably, I would imagine you might need to go in there and adjust that. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, take a look at that. All right, and then moving on with the news, Zoho Meeting has some enhanced things to it, some small little cleanup. Not really a lot to look at here. The meeting follow-ups, you now have more finely, you have rich text options, which is kind of nice. You have some advanced recording settings that can only be done by the organizational admin when you're setting up your recordings. These are kind of things that really every other meeting software has about how you're handling this stuff. So this is kind of nice that they've set these. But you can now, as an admin, go ahead and more finely tweak how you're recording things, what's auto recorded, the recording quality for your cloud storage options. So some things there. And they've revamped the Outlook plugin download page, which is there you go. So I guess you're now choosing between your 62 and 32 and 64-bit, depending on which version of Outlook you have. They've got a GDPR pop up for EU users. I guess that's where you're going to store your recordings, Tyler. Is that right?
Um,
I'm looking at that.
Looks like you can basically have it host in the nearest possible data center, which is supposed to increase
Okay.
performance, decrease latency, and allow people to connect a little quicker. So very nice. Then
Yep.
some
And
updates here for meetings and recordings. You can now pause and resume recording in a webinar. Great. Need to have it. And then some general bug fixes related to incorrect dial-in numbers being displayed in invitation emails. That can be kind of
yep.
brutal. You'd hate to miss a sales call because somebody called the wrong number to try to dial in. So onward and upward.
There you go.
Again, as we've said in the past, for a lot of people, Zoho Meeting is going to get the job done. It's just if you live in it all day, every day, you might need Zoom or you might need something that's kind of top of market. But if you're looking to do, you have a weekly internal call, a couple touch bases here and there, and it's all just with your own company, probably don't need to pay for anything else if you're on Zoho One. It's just for some of those shiny objects, right, that come with something like Zoom.
Right. Okay, let's move on with the news a little bit here. We've got the Zoho Backstage kind of September roundup here. We have covered all of these, but it really is kind of talking about what they did in September. Kind of the big one here was if you were doing a multi-day event, you really weren't allowed to check in for a specific day, and now you can do that. Some changes to
Nice.
importing and some attendee options, but really not a lot here. Just kind of a roundup of what happened last month. And then moving on as well, the community digest drop for September. If you're not familiar with this, the Zoho basically has a community and it's very active. We suggest you go there and check it out. A lot going on. And in that community, a lot of things happen. There are a lot of news posts that we cover on the show every week. There are people They announce their meetups, webinars are done there. And so they kind of round up what happens. So this is like functions. So, here's a bunch of custom functions that were posted in the community. You can look at those. A dev corner, they pull out what they think are the most useful discussions that happened in the last month that they posted here. I like this. I like to go through this because sometimes we miss some things, and it's kind of nice to go through and, especially some of these discussions I think are pretty good. So,
well, it's definitely worth checking out if you're a CRM user. I mean, you could find like code snippets that oftentimes Kevin Flynn has written out there in the community page that you can just lift and drop right into your CRM with whole kind of guides on how to do it. So if you are a CRM user, especially if you are the admin of your CRM, it's always worth checking out the digest, because you might find something that you didn't know you needed that somebody else has basically already figured out and just posted for you to use.
here you are. And then we have some enhanced notifications in the latest version of Zoho projects for the Android mobile app. This is just kind of one we want to let you know. If you use Zoho projects and you're an Android user, they've made some changes. You can now see the push notification with a concise description of the information in an easy to read format. That is actually extremely useful. Nice job there. And if push notifications pile up, you can mark them all as read. So nice little thing. Oh, and I guess they also have, if you tap on a push notification, it navigates to the corresponding pages. So nice work, the Android mobile team, and for those who use projects in Android mobile. And we're going to wrap it up with one more news story. I love this. The community is now celebrating SuperBuds. These are these. Don't we all want to be SuperBuds, Tyler? I mean, at one point in time, I feel like we're all SuperBuds anyway. Anyway, one of the most things they love about the helping each other out. And if you think someone is really, really helpful, then you can nominate them and they get 10 goodwill points. And for every 100 goodwill points that they get $10 in wallet credits.
This is, of course, backed with the cryptocurrency. So every goodwill point is on the blockchain. Of course, you can joke.
And if you're not familiar with wallet credits, if you go into your store, you'll see they've got these credits. You
can't really use them on anything most of the time, is what we've kind of found.
If you have Zoho One, oh look, SuperBuds.
That is too funny.
There we are. So
type of production value come to expect
if you're
from
listening to this, Freddie
Zen.
just put a picture up with Tyler, Josh, and myself kind of outfitted in, I guess, super bad costumes with our heads stuck on the top of them. Anyway, really good. The funny part about this to me is the top 13 on the leaderboard, Tyler. Top 13 are going to get additional wallet credits. But that's it. Anyway, wallet credits are odd. If you have Zoho One, you really can hardly use them at all. But let's say you just had CRM, you've built up these credits and you'd like to try out Sign. You can use these credits to help pay for a part of that subscription and for any of the other applications. So they can come in handy. Anyway, and by the way, you're also going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. Wow.
Very cool.
Top
I have a feeling Kevin Flynn is going to be getting a lot of Amazon gift cards through this program.
That's right. I should nominate him as a SuperBud if we haven't already. And you can also get nominated over on if you go to a user group meeting, a Zug.
Very cool.
Yeah, you can get done there.
We joke around about this one a little on the name, but I actually really like that idea. It's kind of a cool way just to, it's obviously not a ton of money or anything crazy, but it's just a way to kind of give someone a tag to say, you know what, like, you spend a lot of time answering people's questions completely for free in the forums. It's a cool way to recognize those people, because there's actually a lot of them that you see out there in the forums. We always talk about Kevin, but Craig Shortreed is always out there answering questions. Michael Trow. I mean, there's some of these people that spend a lot of time really just helping people out, and so they deserve some credit for it.
Yeah, it's really good. And I think they should also do something for the people that give really bad advice, and they could have super duds, right? And for every bad bit of advice they give, they take away $10 in wallet credit. They just, take that away from their Zoho account. Oh man. All right. Nice job, Zoho. And that is a great community. Most of our news, I mean, that everything we get kind of comes from that Zoho community. That's how you can stay in touch with what is happening in the world of Zoho. That, and of course, the CRM Zen Show. Those are your two ways of doing that. And our newsletter. You got those things as well. All right. And with that, Tyler, let's head right on over to our implementation of the week. What do you got?
Alrighty, so this is one that we built out for one of our clients who has been using CRM and Sales IQ for a while. Um, and a big part of what we've done for them is essentially, before getting to this piece, is helping them de-anonymize some of the web visitors, right? So you kind of have to, get a lead to click an email, or, get a lead to click an email maybe through campaigns, CRM, these various different ways you can essentially connect visitor 12345 to John Smith, right, who's in your CRM. And so after they've been connected to the visitor record, anytime that they visit the site, it will actually write to the visit summary section within the CRM. That contains what page they visited, the date, time of that visit, an aggregate of their visitor score, which you can kind of set up on the Sales IQ side. And in this one, it's not really a super technically crazy implementation where you had to write 500 lines of code or go too crazy here, but definitely a high impact one where using CRM workflows, basically able to build out automated communications that go out to those leads based on the last time that they visited, as well as the page that they visited in that session. And so, the use cases of this are, you could have a lead that you talked to 6 months ago, and you've connected them to the visitor record. They kind of slowed down, they kind of disappeared, but then they drop back into your site, right? And maybe a quick little email saying, hey, just wanted to check in, always happy to jump on a call, right after they have kind of reinitiated interest in your product or service. It might be just what you need to actually get them on the phone and maybe move the transaction forward. Kind of another little piece that we did on this as well on the back end is some reporting for the sales team around leads that they own that have visited the website recently. So that you're able to actually follow up on those specifically as well, outside of just some of these automated communications. This one was built by Bruno on our team, so big shout out to Bruno. Thanks for your help on getting this one rolled out. But yeah, it does take a while. It can be a slow burn with Sales IQ because the tricky thing is de-anonymizing the visitors, right? Where if they chat and they give an email, right, you've got them, you know who they are. You can send them emails with certain parameters where if they click through, you know who they are. But it does take a while, like for these guys, it's going to be a slow burn where 1% of their list is de-anonymized, and then maybe 2%, 3%, 4%. But when you start doing it early, right, and you kind of standardize that, hey, any of our emails going out are going to have these tags on them, then, slowly but surely you're going to build up that list of people who who they are anytime that they visit your site.
Yeah, it's a nice way to make use of the Sales IQ data that flows into the CRM, and what you're doing there. Because most of the time, I think it just sits there completely unused, and it's nice to actually get a look at it and see what it's doing. So, nice job, Bruno. All right, and with that, I guess we should go to code share, huh?
Let's do it.
So if you're not familiar, over at club.zenatta.com, we have a little forum called Code Share, and every week one of our developers drops in a nifty little bit of code that you can use to enhance your Zoho implementation. And in this case, this is custom lead conversion, and this is done by Lucas Santana. And really, Tyler, he's basically saying, look, you kind of convert a lead and it's converted, and sometimes you need, is that what he's talking about here? The standard, it just converts in the sales process. What's that?
So like sometimes you can get away with using the standard conversion that goes to lead, contact, and account. I think in this case we actually needed more than one contact created. We've done this type of thing before with like a spouse, right, or a child, right? You might have that info on the lead. And so there's two ways to do it. You can do the normal conversion and then run a function after the fact that like creates those other contacts. A much cleaner way to do it is to do a custom convert button, and it looks like that's exactly what Lucas did here. So essentially built it out, get all the data that you need about the or from the lead to map it to contacts, accounts, and deals. Doing some field formatting cleanup here as well, and then going ahead and writing it across to those records. So definitely a nice one. Again, most of the time, right, you're going to use your normal conversion, but there are those cases where, maybe a lead includes a trustee and they need to be a contact and need to have them associated. And, so it's just a way to basically build out a custom flow for doing that conversion.
Yeah, very, very nice implementation. So basically, on your lead form, maybe you are getting several different people on that one lead form, right? And so now when you do this conversion, it neatly associates them all and does that. Very, very slick. So, this is really, you see this all the time in insurance,
Yeah.
all the time in
Real
insurance.
estate as well is a big one.
Exactly. When
Maybe
you've
you
got a
have a
husband,
form
wife,
and you
got
list
children.
roommates, right, on the form for some lease application, and they all need
Yep.
to be associated to that deal. And yeah, so there's a lot. I think this one here, I don't remember the exact industry use case for this one, but
This is,
yeah, there's a
I
lot of
see the
time.
word patient in here. So this must have been
Okay,
for some medical.
got it.
Patient contact map. Not sure who this was for, but anyway, it's this just comes in handy all the time. And oftentimes we'll see a CRM where someone's built it themselves. In the contact record, they actually have put all these custom fields for spouse and children and all this kind of stuff. When especially on the spouse one, you kind of want that separate. You're going to want to be able
Yeah.
to email them both separately and all that kind of stuff. So nice job, Lucas. All right. With that, let's get on over to our read of the week. Can you create a Wikipedia page for your company? Why, yes, you can. This is over from HubSpot. It's kind of interesting. I was going through looking at something in Wikipedia, and I noticed that some small companies that I'm actually familiar with actually had Wikipedia pages. They were fairly nice. So it's kind of a way to control the narrative as to about your company. If someone wants to look you up, you can give that information directly there. And I thought to myself, I wonder what it takes to create a Wikipedia page. And I did a Google search, and shockingly, HubSpot came up. For those of you that don't know, they are a go-to for really detailed blogs on how to do things. And that's what they've done here. Basically, how to set up your Wikipedia page for your business, what you need to go through, uh, the pitfalls, creating the account, the page, everything that you need to do. So if you think your company has reached that point where maybe it could have its own Wikipedia page, well, gosh darn it, read this blog and it's going to tell you how to do it. So, and it was recently updated. It's an older blog, long. It's a 10-minute read. There's a lot to getting this done, but this was published actually July of last year, and they just updated this a week ago. So
Got it.
good stuff there. Shout out to HubSpot. And who's the author of this? Uh, Caroline Forsey. So nice job, Caroline, putting that together. So I think we're going to have to do our own Wikipedia page here soon, Tyler.
Yeah, I
Get
think the
this
big thing
thing.
that they reference is kind of interesting is that Wikipedia gets a little, I don't know about preferential treatment, that might not be the right word, but it's highly ranked in terms of Google search results. So being able to kind of get that out there, it's pretty likely to show up high on the page if people are searching for you. So yeah, I think the big stuff here is obviously don't lie, don't say crazy stuff about your company, that's just going to get your page taken down. People aren't going to believe it, but yeah, I mean, it can't hurt, right? I mean, we're all about kind of showing up when you search, and so yeah, we might want to get on this ourselves.
So I shouldn't put in there that, like, we acquired Tesla in 2021 and
Yeah, people
no.
might be able to sniff that out. Yeah, they might figure out that that's not it's not
Yeah.
accurate.
Elon Musk actually writes all our code. Probably not a
But a bunch of
no.
citations that just point to our blogs that we also write to cite our
Exactly.
Wikipedia page.
All right. And with that, let us get to the read of the week over at Zenatta.com. So, Tyler, our read, pick, and tip all have a theme.
Wow.
We're talking about email. So, this is what to do if your email is blacklisted. How does this happen? Oh, you bought a list. We talked about this last week, and you thought it'd be a great idea to send out to 10,000 people, and 5,000 of those bounce back, and the internet powers that be say, "Aha, you're a spammer," and they
Mhm.
blacklist you. But if you do get blacklisted, sometimes it's just a simple mistake. Well, again, I think we talked about this last week, where you got a high bounce rate because you have an old list that you haven't mailed to in a while. They'll
Yep.
usually take care of you there. Anyway, how do you get blacklisted? Well, there's several tools you can use to check to see if you've been blacklisted, and then Barracuda has a little thing to get you removed from a blacklist. So just a general article, check to see if you've been blacklisted, and then some steps you can take to remove yourself from there.
Yeah, and I
And
think the
that,
best,
by the way,
best advice there is
go ahead.
don't get blacklisted.
Yeah.
Just be exceedingly careful, right? Don't get blacklisted. It is such a pain. And the problem is that it's not just going to hurt your marketing. It can start forcing your like sales prospecting emails to go to spam. So like someone that a salesperson's been emailing with for 3 months, they send a new email and now they're in spam too. So yeah, just be exceedingly cautious about this. Do your email checking. Don't buy lists, or if you do, buy them from Zoom Info, good sources where you're going to get real contact information. But and you're saying that we now segue this into our next video, or is it our tip of the week that we've come full
Our
circle here?
tip of the week, which is, hey, MX lookup.
Look
And
at that.
yeah, so if you go to mxtoolbox.com, you can do a lot here. You can check to see if you're blacklisted, you can check your DMARC record, you can run diagnostics, you can do DNS lookups, but basically if you just kind of put in any domain here, let's do Zoho, and you do a little MX lookup on them, it is going to tell you, well, I guess it's not. Where is it? There it is. It's going to tell you that, in fact, the DMARC record is published and it was found, and quarantine policy, everything's been enabled, and, you're in good shape there. These are the kind of things you want to look for when you're going ahead and you're doing it. You don't have a lot of green check boxes here. Well, you got problems. And then you can take this a little further. It's going to talk to you a little bit about how to use this tool and what to do with it. So this is a very, very valuable tool. Check and see if you've been blacklisted, those kind of things. Do you have everything set up on your DNS server? And a lot of this, by the way, you have to get into the back end of your DNS server, and you've got to put some records in there so that when you're sending an email, it checks, goes, yep, this is real people, and that's going to help improve your deliverability and keep you out of spam. All right. And with that, we'll get into the tip of the week. And we're talking about Clearout.io, and this is an email validation checker. And Cody has done a nice little 8-minute video here, which is going to step you through. You've got a list, you've got people in your database that you haven't mailed to, you're thinking about sending that out. Before you do, you want to run it through one of these email validation services. One we use all the time is Clearout. They had some special going a couple of years ago where it's like I could buy 10 million emails for, $500 or something like that. I
Yeah.
bought it. So we're running through our 10 million emails right now for our clients as they need it. But anyway, Cody's going to step you through what you need to do. Get that list, upload it, check it, what it means. They come back, if something, you might have a valid email, but it's going to like info@Zenatta. All right. And again, those are things you shouldn't be emailing to. So it's going to give you a breakdown of your list, what you should do. And then he's going to talk about how you can import it, you can flag it, you can tag it, you can sort your list and clean up your CRM data before you go ahead and send that email through Zoho campaigns.
Awesome. Yeah, it should be a great video. I mean, these things, they're not the sexy part of marketing, right? You kind of want to get your list, you want to blast it out there, you want to hit the ground running, but you got to cross these T's and dot these I's, or you're going to end up in a much worse spot than where you started. And outside of just making me feel inadequate with his illustrious beard here, it also is a great video walkthrough of how to run this necessary process.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, Tyler, and let's wrap up the show by getting to some Q&A, and we've got quite a bit today. right. Michelle, after watching How to Integrate QuickBooks with Zoho CRM Tutorial 2022, basically wrote the code, got all the way to the end, and got an error. We talked about this earlier, Michelle. We need you to kind of head over to club.zenatta.com, drop your code in. We can take a look at it and tell you what you did wrong there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to just be a little bit of formatting somewhere. It's got to be formatting. Even it could even be missing semicolon, missing bracket somewhere. But yeah, it's probably just a bit of formatting. But if you drop it into club.zenatta.com, we can take a look at it for you.
Yeah. All right. And Catherine watched our How to Set Up a Calendar Booking Inside Zoho CRM 2021 tutorial, and she can't find the calendar bookings option. So, Catherine, it hasn't changed. I checked it this morning. So when you're in the CRM, go up in the corner, click on your calendar, just open the calendar up inside CRM. And then you kind of go up to the options. You click on that. The very last option you should see in the upper right-hand corner is calendar booking. It should be there for you. If not, I don't know. Is there something that turns that on or off on the back end?
If you're on the free version or the standard, you may need to be on premium or enterprise or ultimate to get it. It might be something that's gated based on your license. But yeah, if you are on like Zoho One or you're on premium or above for CRM, it should be there.
It's not there for the free basic version.
I don't think so. No, I think it's gated.
All right. And Fennel, after watching the Zoho Sales IQ Zobot tutorial 2021, has a question for you, Tyler. Hello, Tyler. Can you please tell me how I can organize the responses received from visitors through the Zobot into desk tickets in a specific field?
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. You have to catalog all of those responses and make sure you're saving them through to like user or visitor variables or session variables. Then you're going to need to write a function that will actually organize them and kick it over to Zoho Desk. They do have a pre-built action where you can create a ticket as part of the Zobot flow, but I don't think you get a ton of customization if you were trying to drop in a lot of custom parameters. So you might just need to do it with a little function. To create a function, you need to add it. What do they call them? It's a type of plug. They call them plugs inside of Zobot. And that's where you'll actually have to go to create your little deluge function.
All right. And then Isaac, after watching Zoho Analytics full product tutorial, said, hey, please advise, please, can't Zoho Analytics be run on Windows 11? I have downloaded the software, but I am unable to run it on my Windows 11. And we did a little research. And
yeah, to be transparent, Isaac, I've never used the desktop version of Analytics. I always used the cloud-based version. When I looked up the page to download the desktop version, it looks like it only supports up to Windows 10. I very well may be wrong, but what I saw is that it looks like it does not yet support Windows 11 on the desktop.
It's unfortunate. All righty. And then Kate, after watching CRM Zen Show episode 200, wow, way back on that one, 19 episodes ago, is that right? I don't know. Hey, regarding the question from Steven Sandor at 39 minutes and 30 seconds, Tyler mentions that with the new sync, you can set campaigns opt-out to update a different field from the usual email opt-out field in the CRM. How do I do this?
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to make a video on this specifically, but I'll walk it through. So open up campaigns under the contacts tab on the left. I'm mirrored on the left. You can go to contacts, then you'll go to sync services. That will open up the page where you see all of your syncs. You don't go into any of those under the CRM, right? So you'll sync services, click into CRM, you'll see like leads, contacts. In the top right is a settings tab that captures settings for all of the integrations. And it's in that settings tab where you can change the email opt-out behavior. You can either turn it off where it just doesn't write to CRM. You can have it write to that email opt-out field, the native one in CRM, which I do not recommend you do. Kate, obviously, you know not to do it because you're trying to change it. But for other listeners, like you don't want your Zoho campaigns opt-out to write to the CRM email opt-out field because it actually gets rid of your ability to do any emails from CRM, including sales and transactional emails. Right. So someone could have just purchased a product from you, but they unsubscribed to your newsletter 6 months ago, and now you can't email them about their shipping from CRM. So you want to change this option. But yeah, so Kate, it's under contacts, sync services, CRM, and then settings in the top right. And that's where you can go to actually change the opt-out behavior. It's a good time to ask the question because I literally just did this yesterday for a client. So I kind of have it in my mind.
All right. And then Star asked, what is the name of the plugin for the phone number regex? How can I use it? Or is there a code for making the input of the phone numbers all the same? I think we talked about doing this as a plugin, Star, because we've got
Yeah.
this code somewhere, but we've never really released it. It's just
Well,
some
no, we
delete.
may have. I'm cheating here and I'm looking at Click because I saw Star actually asked in the chat as well here, and Jordan was saying we could make a code share on it. But I
Okay.
think we actually did. I think we have a code share. It might be the first one, Star, that we did. It's not a plugin. It's something you would need to add to like workflows or as a schedule. But it does seem like we do have a code share on this. I cannot walk you through it because regex makes my head hurt. But I do invite you to take a crack at it and see if it makes your eyes go crossed like it does for me when I try to look at regex.
All right. So we will either point you, Star, I think you're over in Club Z anyway. We'll point you to it over there or figure something out. All right. And then Steve, following up on last week's question, I don't want to read all of this, but basically he's got a form, he's got a PDF form, and it's got the character field in it, and it's 30 characters. He wants to make it longer, and how's it going to fill? And he can't get it to go. And we were talking about this again, and Tyler, the answer is just make the box bigger and the font smaller, and there's really not a
Yeah,
lot you can do about it.
unfortunately, Steve, I don't think that the character count it matters from like how long they can type into it, but it doesn't matter in terms of what actually shows in the box. It's all just about the size of the box and the size of the font. It is a big pain. I was telling Brett before the show, I have a client who does a bunch of government documentation on behalf of clients, and they have to use a government approved list of counties. And so a county can look like Broomfield, or it can look like Anchorage, comma, the municipality of, and they have to go into government forms, and it's just a constant battle. But yeah, the only thing you can really do is make the font small, make the box big. If you can try to squeeze it into being tall enough, it will go and it will text wrap on 2 lines. That's kind of how we get away with it on this one, where we've made it font size 8, and we take up every single pixel of space in the box, and then it will barely wrap around and do 2 lines, and it was able to solve it for us. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no quick and easy fix, and it's just based on the actual size of that text box.
All righty. And then Cameron over at Club Z asked us, when sending a mass email to contacts in the CRM, we receive an email that shows some statistics around the email that was sent, number of emails that were sent, number of undeliverable emails, etc. But on the failed emails, there's no way for us to find out basically who those were. And unfortunately, Cameron, even if you go into the CRM, you're in contacts and you click on more options and you click on mass emails and you click on email sent and you click through that, it gives you a nice little sheet that shows you all of that. To the best of my knowledge, and Tyler, maybe you'll correct me, I've never been able to find out who those failed were. And we used to do that all the time internally. We'd send out the notices for, hey, the CRM Zen Show is coming up live. And we would send those out through the CRM. And I would get these undeliverables and failed. And rather than going one by one, I've never been able to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
Now we send them through campaigns, which kind of solves that problem because you can see who failed then. But I don't know in the CRM if you can, Tyler.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
you?
really the only way to do it, and it's not perfect, but I've done this before, is if you go into reports in the CRM and you make a report based on emails, you can actually filter the report to only show you emails sent via mass mail. You can also filter it to only show emails sent on a certain date. And I believe it has a status where you can see that it was bounced or undeliverable, but it's going to show a row for each email with who it was sent to. So it might be exactly what you need. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm pretty sure all 3 of those parameters should be there for you to be able to create that filter to look at only the bounced emails from a certain day.
All right. And then Rena over on Club Z asked, hey, I just watched your very helpful 2022 Click full product tutorial. Do you have any plans to do another in 2022 or 2023? Well, guess what, Rena? We do. We actually made a decision last week. Our November webinar was going to be on Trainer Central. And we set that up, I guess, last October when we decided what webinars we were going to do. Because we figured we'd have a lot of people using Trainer Central. But since Trainer Central has been ripped out of Zoho 1, and it's not part of it, we actually have had nobody using it, nobody doing anything with it. So we decided to replace the Trainer Central webinar with Click. So look for that in November. We will be doing a full Click review, and a lot has changed since 2020. A lot.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember recording that tutorial, Brett? You and I were going to kill each other. I don't know what it was about that day. We joke about this Click tutorial. I'm happy it was useful.
was that the one that just totally tilted you?
Yeah, this is the one that just put me on complete tilt, and I don't remember why. I don't remember what was going wrong when we were trying to record it, but you and I were both so frustrated. We got it done anyways, but this was early in our content generation careers, everybody, when we weren't very systematic about how we were doing things. But yeah, so we're going to actually
hours, right?
Yeah, it took like an hour and a half to make like this 10-minute video. So yeah, we're going to do a deep dive on Click in November. It's an app that we use a ton. We recommend if you're using multiple Zoho apps, you should probably try it out. So we'll be running through that for you.
Fantastic. All right. And then our last question is from Lars. And Lars asks, hello. I have heard that a competitor of mine, also in the EU, it looks like Lars might be in Germany, we think, is running a double opt-in process completely through CRM and then only sends the confirmed contacts to Z campaigns. Do you see an advantage to this approach? So far, I would say doing the data cleaning and sorting out non-double opt-in users is better performed in Zoho campaigns. Yes, Lars, we agree. You should do this in Zoho campaigns. It totally makes sense, especially
Like
you're in the EU.
And you could always brute force. The thing with CRM is it's like the siren song, right? Because you can brute force anything in there, right? Like you could surely build a double opt-in process that would be GDPR compliant from CRM, or you could go to campaigns, you could turn on GDPR, and you could do what it tells you, and then you're good. Right. And you're going to want to do that anyways, because like opt-in should be specific to individual topics. And so if you're doing it in CRM, then your challenge is that like anytime that you add a new topic or segment or grouping in campaigns, you have to go back over to CRM and change your manual opt-in process there. And so, yeah, we would recommend using campaigns, just using the GDPR settings that come out of the box. It's probably going to save you a lot of time and effort versus trying to do something super custom in CRM. Just to do that same thing.
All right, Tyler, another show is in the bag, buddy. We want to wish everybody a great weekend. And if you want to get in touch with us, well, you can head over to club.zenatta.com. You can drop all your questions in the question area there. If you've got other questions, we've got a general discussion forum. We've got code share. Check it all out. That's our online community, club.zenatta.com. And if you want to talk to Tyler, myself, or anybody else, just head over to zenatta.com and fill out that book a meeting form. And we will be talking to you sooner than later.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday. Do you remember back when we used to switch who would say which part of the outro based on who talked last?
Now we just got it memorized. You got the hard part, though. Mine's easy.
Podcast app. I think about that every time.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Thanks so much.